What up, Flag fam? I'm Nick, and this is Tom, and welcome to episode 6 of Around the Turf.
So today we're going to be giving you guys some game recaps from this past weekend. We're going to be going over this weekend's coming games.
Playoffs on the way.
Playoffs on the way,
Yes, they
what
are.
the playoff picture is looking like, as well as there was a board meeting held last night, and there's some big trade talks in the works.
Big trade talks in the works, a lot to be discussed, guys. You do not want to miss this.
So the first game on the weekend, we had Twins versus Baja, and I had Baja beating Twins. That's not the way it went.
I
That
did
wasn't
too.
The tale of the tape. Twins beats Baja 27-21 in a very close,
Competitive game.
Some controversial calls.
Yes, but especially at the end of the game, that we'll discuss that before we move on. The end of that game, what happened, but you did have Twins come up with a big victory there. We doubted them after the previous week. We did doubt them. They proved the haters wrong. They did get the win. It was an earned win. They played good. Baja didn't look great. I'm going to be honest.
Baja didn't look great. I listen. I was there, and both teams were going deep. I didn't see a ball under 20 yards thrown. Everyone was sending their receivers downfield
Crazy.
and just hucking it.
Which is wild because Baja is usually very game plan oriented. They when they beat Carter's, it was all off short passes to CP. It literally dominated that game.
Well, when I saw this game, I saw CP had a couple catches. He had one that he took to the house. I know it's Baja's famous play that they like to go to, and it works. I do think Shea needs to spread the ball around a little bit.
Distribute a little more. I mean, they have a lot of weapons.
They have a lot of weapons, and he's looking at his brother, at Chase, every play.
And Chase, Chase is amazing at flag football.
Yes, and it shows, but it's either, I saw Shane either get a pick or a big gain, There's no in between. He wasn't looking at the check down guys as much, so I'd like to see a little more of that next game.
I'll tell you what, there's a guy on their team, he goes by Treebeard, Jason Analek. He's always open. Get him the football.
I saw Analek. Listen, they were on the goal line, and Jay, big guy.
He's like 6'5", guys.
He's the guy you'd want to throw to in the end zone, little goal line fade. Shane didn't even look to that side of the field. I'd watched them run the same play 3 times in a row.
This was to end the game, correct?
To end the game, and it looked like there was one read. It's just Chase, and he was covered all 3 plays.
And I actually saw footage of this play. It was in a complaint, saying it was kind of ridiculous there was no flags thrown. Now, if you watch the replay of these last couple of plays, yes, hands were on Chase Green. But then again, one of them, the worst one I saw, the ball got tipped at the line of scrimmage, so it did not affect the play.
No, and that's the play that they're worried about.
Yeah.
They were worried about the holding call on Chase, and granted, there might have been definitely some holding going on, but you got to call that earlier in the game.
Yeah.
You can't choose the one time you call it on
especially
4th and goal, for the game. You got to be consistent. So I agree with the no flag.
Yeah, I do as well.
I think that it would have been a flag if they were calling it earlier.
Oh, yeah.
But
it's one of those things, and the worst. You see it in the NFL all the time with the refs ruining, and they're always ruining games. They don't throw flags all game until it comes to those last 2 minutes, and then flag happy, flag happy, flag happy, and it really ruins the football game. So this is going to be a one-time. Props to the officials. I don't think a flag needed to be thrown there.
I
don't. It's ticky-tack. It could have been. I don't think it should have been. Twins earned that win.
Twins earned that win, and also I will say Tyler Haight as ref. That brother didn't take no shit.
Which is good. We need that in this league.
He had both Dekas screaming at him over the call. He's got the other side. And I watched Tyler stand his ground and, point his fingers at whoever was coming at his reffing. So, Tyler, hats off to you.
He's having an MVP type year, and he might be our best official, too.
That's
Tyler,
true. You don't take
keep
nothing.
it up, brother. Keep it up, brother.
Yo, come here. Go do your fucking job. Call the fucking play already.
But, all right. So then following that, we have a big one. Pedigo. First win of the season.
Finally.
That I happened to call, if you don't remember, if you go back to the last video, I called Pedigo winning this game. I had a good feeling about them. I felt like it was their time. And sure enough, they came out in a 23-17 victory.
See, I took JJ. I think it's about time, though, that Pedigo got their first win.
It's nice, It kept their season alive for at least a day. at least a day. There was some hope. You know what? Pedigo, it's comeback time. Kyle Perucci back, threw a touchdown. Dylan Kelly scoring touchdowns. Pedigo looks back. For now, for a game.
For now, but
for a
can
game.
Kyle keep it consistent?
We'll
Is that
see.
like a flash
Yeah.
of the former QB1 that
Yeah.
we used to know,
Yeah,
Nick?
yeah. Well, we'll see in a couple games. We'll
is
see in a
this
couple
the
games.
flash in the pan.
Yep, we'll see in a couple games. We go to our next couple. So we'll move on for that one. Pedigo, let's clap him up. Congratulations on your
First win.
Well deserved.
And the only of the weekend, but we'll
Yeah,
get on to that.
we'll get on to that. We'll get on to that. Then we had the Pacha versus Twins matchup.
So you think Twins coming
So
off
Twins
a big
coming
victory
off a big
against the number
victory
2 powerhouse.
And momentum. Also, I'll tell you this. Twins watched our video last week.
Yeah.
If you recall,
Shout out Twins.
shout out Twins. And Twins Barbershop, phenomenal. Phenomenal barbershop. None of this here is going towards the barbershop. Barbershop, amazing. They watched last year. I heard from my sources, they were very upset with me because if you recall, in our video, I said Twins was going to get routed in this game.
You did.
I gave it a 25-point spread. I said it was a rout. Twins was so mad, they pinned that.
They made you eat your words.
Yeah, no. They pinned that in the group message. It's a Pacha game. They pinned in the group message that I said Pacha was going to lose that Twins was going to lose by 25 points. They used me as fuel and motivation. Twins, I respect that. You use my words as fuel and motivation. But then I heard they also took things a little personal. Well, Twins, you want to know the score of your game? It was 31-7. Y'all lost by 24. You lost by 24 points, and you're getting mad at me. At me for calling it as I saw it.
Who are you mad at? Him or
Yeah,
yourself?
I'm an analyst first. An analyst first, and then a fan. I'm a Twins fan, but I am an analyst, and goddamn, I knew y'all were going to get routed, and sure enough, you did. Any comments, Tom?
I think Pacha is scary. I have no comment about Twins because, I like their method. I like what they were doing.
I respect what they're doing, but I heard people took it really personally to where they were angry at me. They're like, I don't fuck with Nick. Why don't you then prove me wrong?
Yeah,
at
that's
least
true.
compete.
There's one way to get them to shut up, and it's to win.
And it's to prove me wrong.
I think Pacha coming in now 5-0. I think we got to start talking undefeated.
Yeah, not just
think
undefeated,
we gotta
but
start
you got to start
talking
talking.
undefeated season.
Could this be the best flag football team ever assembled?
At this point, it's a discussion.
It's a discussion, and if they run the table and go undefeated and win the chip, I think they have to be.
These guys, again, they just beat Twins, who we had, under Baja. We had Baja as our second ranked team, and they just beat them, and then they get smoked by Pacha the same weekend.
It's just they are a wagon. Nobody's fucking with them.
I can't.
Tyler Haight.
I can't say
Nick
nothing bad about that
LePere,
team.
Matt Manzuelo, Lincoln Stort, freaking Danny Urbanic, Aiden Davis.
Yeah.
And none other than QB Zach Barber dominating this league.
As much as I'd like, I have nothing bad
Nothing
to say
bad
about
to
that
say.
team.
You gotta-
I can't. I
Yeah,
cannot.
no, you got a bunch of MVP candidates on one team, and it's really they're gonna run away with MVPs. Rich Rinaldi, rookie coach, should run away with Coach of the Year.
Which is insane because Richard does no coaching on that sideline. Richard stands there with his hands in his pockets.
Yeah.
And we'll say, hey, Richard, coach your goddamn team.
Yeah. No, you're
And
right, but
you know what he says?
Undefeated's undefeated. Not just that. I actually heard there was a point. It was a fourth down. It was a 4th and goal for Pacha. Rich came into the huddle, said, all right, guys, we're going to kick this. And they looked at him and said, no. Said no to their coach, went for it. And Barber made an amazing play on 4th down, and they converted. So
is that I will say, yeah, Barber added you and I on Snapchat.
Yeah, yes, he did.
After this game, and instantly put us in a little group and sent a highlight of his.
And it was phenomenal.
And it was pretty
good.
nasty.
And he's had multiple picks that game as well. So
yeah,
showing up on the defensive side of the ball, it's him or Haight MVP.
Yeah,
it's him or Haight MVP.
We got nothing bad to say about that team.
And it's if they want to decide if quarterbacks can be in it. If the league's going to decide no quarterbacks at all, then Haight is clearly a runaway.
I'm curious what little brother Richard's going to do if, there ever is any, discourse in the team. But again,
as long as they keep winning
I can't
this,
I
there's
can't
not
say it
gonna
anymore
be.
because
No.
they're 5-0. They could have an undefeated season.
Yep.
I'm curious to see.
And then our final game, Tom. We had the Pedigo versus Baja matchup. This is one I'll be honest, I called it wrong. I called Baja wrong this weekend, to be honest with you. I thought they'd beat Twins and lose to Pedigo. They flipped it. They beat Pedigo. It was 16-7 final score. Low scoring, kind of boring. Baja pretty much had it for mostly the whole game.
Yeah, I took Baja that game too. I'm glad they were able to bounce back.
Yeah.
Again, I'm gonna continue riding with them.
I
I hope they change up, some play calling.
Yeah.
Look elsewhere because they have a team full of studs.
They do.
With Jose and Treebeard.
Yeah.
And obviously CP, but they got some good receivers on that team.
Anise, you can't forget Anise, and newly acquired Stephen McDowell.
Offensive Player of the Year.
Now
Stephen
they got a
McDowell.
four-headed beast at receiver. They should really try to use everybody.
But will he catch any passes? I hope
we'll
so.
get more into it when our playoff predictions come
Shane.
in the next episode. But I think they have a strong chance of being in the championship.
I agree.
I really do. And then on the other side of things for Pedigo, this kind of just ended their season. I'm not gonna lie to you. They are still alive. We'll go into the previews of the next matches coming up. Just so you know, they have to beat Pacha, the undefeated team, by more than 2 touchdowns, and then need Baja to lose to Carters Baja to beat Carters by more than 2 touchdowns to make it.
It's unlikely.
It's not
We've seen
impossible.
crazier stuff happen, folks, but it's unlikely.
It's unlikely.
So that being said, I know again this all plays into some trade talks that we're going to be going over later. Teams moving around trying to get into that playoff spot, get a different picture.
And then we also now have 2 more matchups to end the regular season coming up this weekend. And like I just mentioned, we have Pacha versus Pedigo, and then we have Carters versus Baja. Let's start with a quick one. Coke in a glass, how can you beat that?
Best stuff on earth.
How can you beat that? Let's start with the first one. Pedigo Pacha. I'll make this quick. I don't know what you're going to have to say about it.
I got a feeling I'll agree with you on this one, Nick.
Guys, this is another one. Pedigo, please, your group chat, pin it. Pin my words I'm about to say. This is going to be a rout. Once again, Pedigo, they have the Pacha, they have the 1 seed locked up. They could rest their guys if they want. No. They have a bunch of guys that want more to prove. They want to be the best team ever. They have guys who want to be MVP. This is a rout. Tom, my spread for this one, 32.5. 32.5, and I'm pretty confident on it.
Holy crap. That's a lot of points, Nick. Listen, we haven't got our lines from Vegas yet. But I'd like to give them minus 13.5 to, Pacha.
Maybe minus 13.5 in the first quarter.
I'll set it at 49.5.
Total?
Over under total.
That might be over by Pacha alone.
The majority of the points, I think, are going to go towards Pacha.
Yes.
I think Pacha smokes Pedigo.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
We got an undefeated team who's looking to run the table.
And then a team with
Pedigo's
1
kind
win.
of in
Yeah,
shambles.
they're in shambles.
So,
it's sad, but
I'd like to also fit in the possibility of an upset. This could be a trap game for Pacha.
You know what? It could be, and this would be the upset of the season. Possibly the biggest upset in flag football history if Pedigo could pull this one out, but don't doubt him.
But I wouldn't, again,
I doubt him. I doubt him. I'm sorry. I doubt him. But you guys don't doubt him.
So the second game, we got Baja playing Carters of the last game, the regular season. Straight up, riding with Baja.
So this is a good matchup. So Carters, once again, if Pedigo wins, Carters need to beat Baja. But it looks like Carter's going to be stuck in as a 3 seed here. Baja's going to be the 2 seed. So this is going to be a playoff matchup.
I think Carter's has some key players that if they can get it together, they'll have a great team.
Yeah.
But I know that there's some passion, some loyalty missing from certain players on the team.
Yeah,
and that's...
there is. And normally here, I would rock with Baja in a game they're playing against each other. But my sources have been telling me some things about this matchup. I have heard that Baja, they're locked in as a 2. They're going to play multiple people at quarterback this week. They're not going to give it all to Shane. I think they know that they're going to have to play these guys again in the playoffs anyways. So they're not going to show them what they got. So I actually think, I heard Jose might play quarterback. Jason might play quarterback. Anise might play quarterback. Chase might play quarterback. They're just going to... Irish Bull might play quarterback. Coach Ryan McKeon might come in for a series at quarterback off a torn meniscus, folks. So with that in mind, I'm going to take Carters for this game solely because I don't know how much Baja wants to show, knowing they have to play him again.
I think... I like where your head's at there. I think that Baja is a team of competitors.
They are. No, they are.
And I think
they're still going to try. I'm not saying they're going to just give up and not try to win. They're going to try.
Is fun.
It is.
You know, maybe in an exhibition game, but
Yeah.
even though they're in the playoffs, I would hate for them to sit their star players and cycle through quarterbacks.
Yeah, I think play your guys, play to win.
If I was on that team and we get down 21-0, you know, I'm gonna want Shane to come in. I'm gonna want to
because I want to win. It's for pride.
It's for pride. I don't
I
want
want
to
to
lose
win.
nobody.
I want to be. I want to win every game I play. I don't want to fuck around. So Baha, just don't fuck around. Just go out there and win like you should. If you're going to play Shane the whole game, I got y'all. I got y'all winning. But if you're not... But all right, guys.
Lies in the tape.
Yep. After this break, we have a very important BFFL board meeting to discuss that just took place over the last couple of days. This is about the trade market and how you can make trades and what trades you can or cannot make. Now, just make sure to listen to this because a lot of implications are coming from the ruling from the committee, and me and Tom both have opinions on it.
See you guys in a little bit.
See you guys in a bit.
You are watching episode 6 of Around the Turf, brought to you by the BFFL. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel to show your support for all the behind-the-scenes work that goes into this show and this league. Please enjoy the remainder of this episode.
All right, Tom. So, we have a big board meeting to discuss. So, for the last couple of days, Tuesday night and Wednesday night, the Flag Football Committee board has been meeting at one of our sponsors, the Elks Club. And they've been discussing, a lot of coaches have been arguing about trading. So let me just explain a little bit what's going on here. So the original argument is certain coaches wanted to be able to trade future draft picks for current players. In a sense. So in a sense, you know, a team trying to compete in the playoffs, another team might be looking into next season, you know, if you look at a dynasty fantasy football league.
Yeah, I got nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So they want to trade their a pick for next season to get a player today. Now, the board meeting was back and forth with it for a while. Originally, the answer was no, there's absolutely no trading picks. However, when they met again the second day, they discussed it over again and made a decision. It is now allowed. So now it's a week before the playoffs, end of the regular season. Twins is done with games already, and you can now trade a player to another team for draft picks for next year. Tom, what do you think about this?
I got no problem with that. I think if a team is, you know, mathematically out of the playoffs already and not going to make it, there's absolutely nothing wrong with looking ahead. I think that's smart to try to build your team in the future and make moves. I hear there's some sanctions on it.
There is. Do you know those sanctions, or would you like me to explain them?
Well, it's a player. If you're going to do it for a third, it can only be 1/3 round pick.
1/3 round pick.
Nothing higher than that. You can't trade for a first or a second.
No first or seconds allowed whatsoever.
And you could trade for a maximum of 2 after the
third round. Per season, not just per trade. Per season. So if you trade a player for a third round pick, that's the only pick you could trade all year. Or you could trade multiple players for a 4th or a 5th or a 6th, and you could get multiple picks in.
Yeah. I got nothing wrong with that.
I kind of disagree with you on this. I kind of think this is kind of a little messed up. Now just hear me out. Hear me out here. It's the end of the season. We do have one team, Pacha. They have been running through everybody and dominating this league. There's been barely any trades going on this whole season, and Pacha has just routed everybody they've played, besides Twins that one time. They almost beat them when they had Basim, who's now hurt. So now it's it's playoff time. Now I'm just going to trade and get great players for draft picks so I could try to beat Pacha. To me, I don't know. I think it's a little corny. I don't mind the idea of trading players for picks during the season. My issue is it's the end of the season. It's the last week. There's absolutely no trade deadline. It's almost like conspiring, in a sense.
I see that aspect of it. I think that, maybe the timing of the rule and stuff is untimely. You know, maybe not right before the playoffs. There should be, a trade dedeadline set before the season.
100%.
So I think they could have gone about that a little differently, because I see your point there, right before the playoffs, helping out another. It doesn't sit right.
It could be kind of corny, especially if a team stacks themselves up right before the playoffs and gets a win. Like, to me, it's kind of like, it's like a win,
I'm also curious, too. Again, this was a big board meeting. It was basically in secret. We heard about these board meetings, through the grapevine.
Yeah, because we have our sources.
Because we have our sources,
And,
why is it a secret?
Yeah.
Why can't players know
players don't
what is
have
being
an opinion
voted
in this league, no.
in their own league, in their own games? And not only do they not know, they don't have a say because of these 5 random board members.
Yep.
I don't know. I wonder if Carter Peterson or Shane or anyone really knows about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish I knew what goes on in these board meetings, but I truthfully
Declan might
don't.
have an idea too. What happens in the board meetings?
Yeah, who knows?
But
yeah,
I wonder why maybe certain people just get that right, why they hold that right too, and act like they're so high and mighty that the board has to vote on this, the board has to vote on that. Why? Why can't teams just play football? Why can't coaches decide what they want for their teams? I'm sorry, but wide receiver 5 shouldn't have a say in what JJ's team does or Jack's team does. Why does a nobody have any say? It doesn't make any sense. It's flawed. It's corrupt. I have a problem with the board.
Tom, I think it's about time on this show that you had your rant. I've had my rants. I go off now. It's almost once an episode.
It's something that rubs me the wrong way.
And I'm glad Tom's able to really share how he feels about this board. I do agree with him in a sense. I really do. And you know what? Another issue with this whole meetings and everything going on, and I don't blame the coaches whatsoever for wanting to make this happen. It makes sense. It's smart. The issue lies behind the board not having a rule set in place for a trade deadline. That's where the issue comes up.
I agree.
Yeah, so I don't blame them for wanting to trade picks. They never got told there's a trade deadline, so it makes sense. And in a sense, like I agree, like they have to approve it. But it's just like, this board, it seems like they do kind of screw things up a lot.
No, it's so corrupt, especially when you have members of the board, whoever they are, whoever they may be on certain teams and be the quarterback of other teams or the commissioner of leagues. I don't know. There's what's the word? A conflict of interest.
Yeah.
100%. People are biased.
Yep.
And it's going to screw everyone else over. And I couldn't tell you how many times, Nick, when I was playing, when I had a team that, I was really rooting for, that I cared about, that I had an issue that I would maybe bring up to someone who's been in the league a little longer, Richard or Finn. And you know what I'd hear back? We'll have to talk to the board.
Yeah,
what the fuck does that mean? I'm sorry. That's bullshit.
He's right. And I have experienced that, especially when we were on the same team together, where, like, somebody would bring something up, let's do this, or let's sign this guy, or let's do this, and it'll be like, the board's not allowing it.
Oh, yeah.
It's not allowed.
Oh, so we just have to sit there and be okay with that answer because these 5 fucking bozos voted on it? It's bullshit.
And you know what? And these people, too, also very much control who's allowed in and out of our league. And you know what? Open it up. You know what? If you guys want an unbiased board, you're looking at 2 guys right here. We both run this show. We're not on a team. We work for each other. We like the BFFL. We like what's best for the BFFL. We're always sharing our opinions about what we think. Put us on the board. Put us 2 on the board, and we'll do a good job. And we'll be honest and open to everybody about what we're discussing and what's going on. It's not some big secret that nobody can go about. No. We'll be honest and open. Put us 2 on the board if you want real changes to happen.
Well, Nick, you used 2 words there, honest and open, and that's something the board, I don't think they even know those words.
No.
They've never heard of it.
No.
But we'll wait and see what happens.
We'll see, yeah. It's big though. And to break down now, we got to go back to this decision, right? Because I've heard trade rumors that I must bring up.
I'd like to hear
them. Like I said, now you are allowed to trade draft picks. Future draft picks for current players. Even though your team's going to change in the future, you can still do the draft picks now. And once again, if you want to get a 3rd round pick, that's the only pick you're allowed to acquire. You can't acquire 2. But say if you want a 4th round pick, you can get 2 4th round picks from 2 different teams and trade off 2 players. So here's my sources. Here's the info I got of a potential deal in the works. It will come out as official later on tonight if it's going to happen. Here's what I got, Tom. It's a 3-way trade. And we have Pedigo will be shipping off quarterback 1, Kyle Perucci, and
4?
number 4, QB1, number 4, Kyle Perucci, and they will also be shipping off Dylan Kelly.
Wow.
2 huge players.
That's
in this
their
league.
offense.
That's their offense. That's who they've been depending on this whole season.
And last season.
Yes, and now, so here's where we're going with it. In return, for Kyle Perucci, Pedigo is going to get a 4th-round pick from Twins and quarterback Declan Costello to Pedigo. And Tom, the reason why this is happening, another rule we missed, you can't trade a QB unless you get a QB in return. And even though Declan has not played a snap at quarterback this whole season, and it's something I've been really riled up about, and I've really said a lot on this podcast how ridiculous it is, guess what now, Declan? You got to go to Pedigo because you're still listed as a QB. You're only tradable for a QB. So from Twins, they'll be getting Declan Costello on a 4th-round pick. Twins will be getting Kyle Perucci. And then from Carter's is going to get Dylan Kelly, and in return, they're going to give Pedigo their 4th-round pick. But also, another big one, they will be shipping off to Twins Louis Del Bianco.
The big unit.
The big
The scary
unit.
man.
So, I mean, this is an all-in move
Wow.
for Twins and for Carter's. Now, listen, you might think, well, Carter's is getting one player, shipping off a player and a pick. Louis has been done with Carter's. And
Yeah.
Carter's, unfortunately, has given up on Louis, which is ridiculous because he's such a great player in this league.
Top player in the league.
Such an impact guy. Somebody I wouldn't want to play against. Somebody I know you wouldn't want to play against.
I'd want him in my army.
100%. 100%. So now, but still, Carter's now is going to be rocking with Dylan Kelly now, being able to play running back for them, and or receiver, and corner, or safety, or linebacker. Huge player to acquire before the playoffs. If he shows up, he's a difference maker. And now Twins, in their attempt to take down Pacha, which looks like it will be their matchup in the 1st round, they are now rolling with a quarterback, which they've had issues with all year. They've had Basim try. He got hurt. They had Komazar try.
And didn't do that bad.
Komazar was
solid.
really good.
Komazar was solid.
The only issue about Komazar on QB has nothing to do about his QB play. It's that they're missing a major weapon at wide receiver.
He's not out there catching them.
Exactly. So he did good too. So now they are getting Kyle to play quarterback along with Louis, who now they have a 3-headed monster on the D-line with Louis, Leibs, and No Fly. I'm sure Louis is going to play some linebacker now.
That's scary.
And now putting Louis at running back on this team, it's making them look a lot more dangerous. It's a scary move for the rest of the league.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's a one game. You got to win it. They don't play this weekend, so it's going to be them versus Pacha in the playoffs. It's their desperate attempt to beat them. Let's see if it pays off.
I'm going to call it here also with Costello moving to Pedigo.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to come out there throwing his first game.
Oh, yeah. He's finally going to have to play quarterback.
Look, let's say if he does good, he's known this all along. You should have been playing QB all year is what he's going to say. Now, when he does shitty, it's because he's trying to get Twins to win still, and he's still rooting for them. Don't buy into it, folks.
Yeah.
That is Declan Costello at his best.
And here's what it takes. You want to scheme a little bit and get your team in position to win. And I'm not talking about Twins coach Mo Dika. Mo Dika, you're doing great. I'm talking about a player on your team. Wide receiver 5, as you said.
Yeah. And now
one of the main schemers in this whole plan to try to get a team to win, well, guess what, buddy? You're getting the team, but you're off of it.
Bye.
Peace out. See you later.
Bye.
See you next season. Head to Pedigo. You know what? Your season's not over yet. Beat Pacha by 2 scores. You can do that.
But who knows, you know?
You can do that.
This guy loves the board.
He loves the
board. So maybe that'll
so
work out in Pedigo's favor since the board loves to be so fucking biased.
So you know
I don't know.
Throw for multiple touchdowns, beat them by 14, give yourself a chance. You never know.
Never know.
Craziers happen. I know you don't think Pacha is unbeatable. You think they're beatable, so go prove it. But all right, we'll wait and see. But all right, guys.
I'd like to give a random shout out this time. Jared Palm again, JPG, training_coaching.
This guy knows how to work out.
If you're a player in the league and you want to get a little bigger, hit him up on Instagram.
Oh,
this guy will beat
he
you up.
will get you right.
He forced me to say this, or else he was going to beat me up next time he saw me. That's how big this kid is.
Listen. He didn't tell me to say anything, and I'm going to back his ass up. I see this guy grinding all the time in the gym, and he's always with other people and showing them what to do. Guys, if y'all want to get right for the summer season,
Hit him up.
Jared Palm. But all right, Tom.
So I think that'll conclude our episode.
Episode 6 of Around the Turf, guys.
We'll get back to you guys, after this next game.
Yeah, and it'll be playoff time next episode.
It'll be playoff time, so lace up your cleats, folks.
Yes, sir. Can't wait. This is episode 6 of Around the Turf, guys. Be at the games. They're both on Saturday, 10 and 12 o'clock. Be there or suck it. I'm Nick. This is Tom. Thanks for watching episode 6 of Around the Turf.